Hey guys, it's Michael Mechanical here, and we got about a month to go before we might be able to work on cars and stuff again. Don't know exactly if it's going to be right on that point, might be 2 months. So we're getting there. Other than that, let's just say I have been doing other things with like building my hutch and my desk. It's now essentially complete. I'm not happy with my own workmanship, but I'm also not happy my tools broke. So when things went wrong, I started to essentially, lower my standards. So, for example, oh god, I don't want to press any buttons. For example, when doing the trim on here, my tool did the right thing, and then it misbehaved here, and it started taking out a huge chunk. It was hard to see it while there was all this stuff all over the place. It probably was this direction it came from because it's lowering and going in a bit, and the adjustment keeps changing as you go. So in some spots it's like nice, and then all of a sudden it starts dropping, and then it keeps dropping with load, and dropping and dropping and dropping, and then it takes out even more. And it's hard to tell where it actually starts dropping, and then even here it starts jumping all over the place with that Humpty Dumpty. You can hear it like a violin noise, whereas everywhere else no. In some spots it's smooth, sometimes it chips out and jumps all over the place. That's one of the multiple problems I had with doing this build. I also had someone help a little bit and try out my new tool I made to finish the job, and they had the same issues, but the tool had some issues itself with the tool sliding in and out. Most of my tools were doing the exact same behavior, which isn't good. So realistically, you want high quality tools, and I had to change my screw setup for some stuff here because the original screws I was going to use were no good for the application. And I think at the back of the desk there is some spots. I don't know if it's here, but it's screws went on an angle. I've got my leg in the back corner there, which is okay, but even though that's a bit weird, it's fairly stable for what it is. I can put all my weight on it. The only problem is these angle brackets are not sitting nice and flush on the table, so they're not getting maximum contact. They're getting point-to-point contact, and it has this angle on it which wants to slope. Luckily, there's 3 screws under the table that hold it in a position which is ideal to keep it on the table. Now, here's the problem long-term if it's ever going to fail. Long-term problem is if this leg kicks out or that leg kicks out, what's going to happen is if it falls off here and here, the whole table is going to pull towards the person who's sitting at the desk. So it's a bit of a risky one. There's also a possibility with making that leg so much more flimsy that if that leg decides to slip out and break or fall off the table that way, at least it's going to try and keep it on the table rather than coming towards you. So there's some risk mitigation by not overdoing the design too much. But I did that so that I could clean up. I'm currently working on a different project at the moment, which is in here, which is setting up a new Optus modem because I had issues with that one, and also because we were downgrading our plans to make it a bit more feasible. Yes, our Christmas tree is still up. That is going to get packed away soon, and the shed's getting cleaned up, the house getting cleaned up finally. No one knows this, but this room was full of machinery for making parts. In fact, I still have a problem with manufacturing a part because it did some weird wonky stuff. I don't know why, but it did. And that part there is not quite accurate as it was meant to be different to that. But I had to accept it. I just drilled a new hole through it because it wasn't parallel anymore and just started again and went with that. Now I got the opportunity to get some keys and maybe go out in the shed and have a look out there. But yeah, we'll be able to maybe do some car-related stuff again soon. We'll just have to wait and see and hope that it actually happens. But also it could be noisy, it could be messy, and then doing all the filming sort of stuff. So I don't think I'm going to try and do nothing too big. I do have my transmission to still do, but fortunately I do think I got some time on my hands to wait a little bit. Here's the fairlane. It's all got dust and dirt on it, which is unfortunate from some cutting and sweeping and some other things. And nothing's damaged, thankfully. My work area is nicer and cleaner. There's still sawdust. And then there's my 3D printer, the CR30, which was used to make parts for the roof of the house. And as we go over here, we've got a lot of car parts on this part of the shelf here, and then we've got a printer there and one up there that's been used now. And there's a big 1 meter by 1 meter box that's been packed away because it just takes up too much space in the shed. And then I've got lots of car parts up here for mostly the Triton. I mean, cars do take up a lot of room in the shed, so it's not like it's unexpected. It's highly expected to happen. So yeah, we just got to deal with what we got, right? I've got to make considerations on how I can reorganize the shed, making it so that this car stays in this little section here and never really goes any further than maybe there, and then keep this box for everything else. Organize that corner a bit better and see if we can do it over there as well, so then you can just have as much stuff as you need. Here is essentially what I called Mum's corner. She doesn't have much stuff anyway, and I have to make it accessible to Mum, which now it kind of is a bit more, but this table has to slide under there. A lot of organising, cleaning up. I also have another table to build, which is going to be on wheels. It's going to be a desk, and there's some leftover material to do it with. And there's some up there too, so that's my extra fun project. I actually feel like this might actually be the right width for said desk, and then I could cut it somewhere down there, and then that's be the sides. I just need 2 panels at the end of the day. Then I also have all that timber up there to mess around and figure out what I can do with, and see what I can do. I could always utilize this metal here to do it, but that was for the desk here, the big ass table, which isn't finished. Maybe I should just get more material and stock it up. I was also thinking of not fixing anything to the shed, but making it so that I can have some portable sort of overhead racks, and the only time I'd modify the shed is not me personally, but someone else who is the owner of the property making that decision, to then put up some sort of beam that goes across here to reinforce it that way, and then add a beam to the middle up and down there, which is where the chandelier is currently residing, and make like an A-frame that sits here that I can just throw some materials from here to the other A-frame, which is over there, to reinforce it and allow me to maybe put some materials up there to store instead of having them like this. Otherwise I got to build some little racks or find another corner to put them, because I can't just have everything, you know, on the ground like this. It's more ideal to put them on a rack or up high. It's not a problem. Then there's the Fairlane. Have some see if he fits with it. It had a coolant leak. Apparently a sensor wasn't in properly and it was leaking a little bit of coolant. They fixed it because I'm not allowed to touch cars. My car's got to go in for servicing on the 12th of this month. And from there, you know, whatever happens, happens. So we're getting there. We also got a rainwater tank. And that's because we had an issue with a bog, so we just bought that tank because it was on special. We were trying to get 2, but we could only get 1, so we got the 1. You know, you don't need to spend a ridiculous amount of money, which now we do because we need a foundation for it, which is going to go over here. Or the tank was ideally, we were told, just put it on the slab here and then you don't need concrete. So we need a mesh and we need concrete, and then that will give the tanks a base to work off of. And then there's all those pigeons right there. A couple of them. At least they don't come over here anymore. As long as they stay over there, perfectly fine. Anyway, guys, I'll let you go. I'll upload this and I'll keep getting back to work. Take care, everyone. Michael out.